Kevin Owens just walked into Minneapolis, and if that name means anything to you, you already know why my phone hasn't stopped buzzing. This is not a rumor pulled out of thin air. This is Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, confirming that Owens is in the host city for SummerSlam, less than a day before the bell rings on night one. No confirmation of a match, no graphic on the card. Just a former Universal Champion in town at the exact moment WWE's biggest weekend of the summer kicks off at US Bank Stadium. Here's why that single detail is setting off alarms across the wrestling internet. Owens has not wrestled since March of 2025, 16 months. He was supposed to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41, a match built on the collapse of one of the most unlikely alliances WWE ever booked, and he had to pull out. Neck surgery. Then he missed WrestleMania 42 too, watching from home as the company moved forward without one of its most dependable main event fixtures. 2 WrestleManias lost to 1 injury. That is the kind of absence that changes a roster. And it's not just Fightful reporting movement. Days ago, Dave Meltzer wrote in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Owens is expected back very soon. Meltzer also noted Owens has visibly dropped weight during his recovery, which in the wrestling news world is one of the most reliable tells there is. When a returning star starts shedding weight during rehab, it almost always means the ring work is close. Bodies get leaned out for televised competition, not for sitting on the shelf. Put that detail next to the Minneapolis sighting, and you have 2 independent threads pointing at the same conclusion within the same 72 hours. I want to be straight with you. Nobody has confirmed Owens is appearing at SummerSlam. Being in the city is not the same as being on the card. Talent shows up early for all kinds of reasons. A fanatic signing, a media commitment, a quiet meeting with Nick Khan or Triple H about the return plan itself. But after 16 months of near silence, this is the loudest signal we've gotten. And I don't think WWE minds the speculation one bit. Let's step behind the curtain, because this return has been built with more care than almost anything else on WWE's creative slate this year. A neck fusion is not a hamstring pull. It's the kind of injury that ends careers, and everyone from Triple H on down has treated Owens' recovery with real caution rather than rushing him back for a quick pop. That's why you saw him take a coaching role on Season 3 of WWE LFG instead of stepping back into a ring before he was ready. It kept his face on television, kept him connected to the audience, without putting his neck at risk a single day too early. There's also been quieter positioning. Owens turned up alongside Dave LaGreca at the NXT Great American Bash tailgate party, a low-stakes, low-pressure appearance that let him test the water with live fans again. None of that is accidental. WWE has been threading him back into view in small, controlled doses, which tells me the people making these calls, likely Triple H alongside the rest of the creative team, have had a target return window in mind for a while now. Minneapolis lining up with that window is not a coincidence. It's a plan reaching its final stage. And here's the piece that really raises the temperature. According to that same Wrestling Observer report, Owens is not the only major absence expected back imminently. Randy Orton is reportedly nearing his own return too, possibly within the next week. Orton has been off television since losing to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 42, and the report says both men are being lined up as fresh challengers for whoever is standing tall in the undisputed WWE Championship picture, currently CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. That is not a coincidence of timing. That is 2 long-term storylines being reloaded at the exact same event. So let's talk about who Kevin Owens actually is, because if you're newer to the product, you need the full picture of what WWE is sitting on right now. This is a former Universal Champion, a former Intercontinental Champion, a man who beat John Cena clean in his very first match on the main roster back in 2015, a moment that instantly told the entire audience this newcomer was not there to lose. He built one of the most layered, emotionally complicated friendships turned rivalries in modern WWE history with Sami Zayn, a story that has run for the better part of a decade and still isn't finished. He feuded with Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship in bloody, chair-shot heavy matches that are still referenced as some of the most physical world title programs of that era. He's also spent years as one of the most consistent voices standing against the Bloodline, long before that faction became the dominant story in the company. That history matters right now, because on the SummerSlam card this weekend, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys are set to face Jacob Fatu and the Usos. If Owens does show up, that match is a completely logical landing spot. He has spent years trying to stop different versions of that exact faction, and stepping in to disrupt underhanded tactics would need zero explanation to the audience. It would just feel right. There's also the far more personal route back into the story, through Sami Zayn. Zayn is in action this Sunday against Finn Balor, still chasing his own redemption arc after losing the undisputed WWE Championship. If Owens returns to help his oldest friend and creative partner reclaim something that was taken from him, that's not just a nostalgia play. That's the next chapter of a story that has defined both of their careers since they were teenagers on the independent circuit together. Now think about where this puts Owens in the current WWE hierarchy. He's returning into a main event scene that includes CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins, who headlines Night 2 defending the World Heavyweight Championship. Owens was already operating at that level before the injury. He's not walking back in as a mid-card afterthought. He's walking back in as a former world champion the entire main event scene has to account for immediately at an event where the two top titles on the roster are both actively in play. That's what makes this weekend so loaded for WWE creatively. Night 1, Punk defends against Rhodes in a match built on the tension between friendship and ambition, with Punk already on record saying he'd keep the title even if it cost him that friendship. Night 2, Reigns and Rollins collide for the other top prize in the company. Layer a possible Owens appearance and a possible Orton appearance on top of that, and you have a show that doesn't need a single surprise to justify itself, but might get two of the biggest ones of the year anyway. So here's how I think this plays out. I don't believe WWE brings Owens back for a full match this weekend. His body has been through a fusion surgery, and rushing a full-length singles or tag match feels like exactly the kind of risk Triple H's regime has avoided with every other major return over the past 2 years. What I do expect, if he appears at all, is a presence, a face in the crowd during the Punk and Rhodes main event, a confrontation after the Bloodline tag match, a moment with Zayn following the Balor match that sets the next several months of programming into motion without asking his neck to take a single bump. And if it's not this weekend, I don't think it's far behind. Between the Minneapolis sighting, the reported weight loss, the Wrestling Observer's own language of very soon, and the parallel Orton return being teased for the exact same title picture, WWE has all the pieces in place for a return in the very near future, whether that's SummerSlam itself or SmackDown the following week. After 16 months, the wait is not measured in months anymore. It's measured in days. I'll leave you with this. Kevin Owens has spent his entire career being the guy who shows up exactly when the story needs him most, whether that's turning on a best friend, chair-shotting a Universal Champion, or walking into a Bloodline beatdown uninvited. If WWE follows that pattern even once more, Minneapolis just became a lot more interesting than the card on paper suggested. Do you think Kevin Owens steps out at SummerSlam? Or does WWE hold him back one more week? Tell me where you land in the comments.